Julius Randle's 2025 playoff performance for the Minnesota Timberwolves is more than just a statistical surge. It's a culmination of a journey marked by personal growth, coaching trust, and a relentless pursuit of impact on both ends of the floor. As the Timberwolves prepare for their franchise's first-ever Western Conference Finals showdown against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the bond between Randle and head coach Chris Finch is being thrust into the spotlight, serving as a foundational piece of this team's historic run. What began as a short-lived relationship in New Orleans has now evolved into a symbiotic partnership in Minnesota, one that is bearing fruit at precisely the right time. With Randle averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists on an elite 62% true shooting over 10 playoff games, Finch has lauded the forward, not only for his offensive contributions, but more importantly, for his evolution into a legitimate plus defender. Something previously unthinkable for the 30-year-old Kentucky product. This analysis will break down the significance of Randle's transformation, the role of Chris Finch in unlocking this new version of him, and what it means for the Timberwolves as they pursue an NBA Finals berth for the first time in team history. Randle and Finch first crossed paths during the 2018-19 NBA season in New Orleans. At the time, Randle was fresh off a promising stint with the Lakers and looking to expand his offensive arsenal. Finch, then an associate head coach under Alvin Gentry, was tasked with helping the Pelicans stabilize a roster in flux due to the Anthony Davis trade saga. While Randle's offensive numbers were solid, 21.4 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 3.1 assists, his defense left much to be desired. He often struggled with rotations, looked stiff on switches, and lacked the consistency or awareness needed to be anything other than a neutral, at best, defender. His reputation as a one-dimensional scorer stuck with him through his early years in New York, where he was more known for erratic shot selection and occasional tunnel vision than for defensive grit or versatility. Still, Finch remembered Randle's raw talent, his strength, and his willingness to be coached. That early foundation, though not fully realized in New Orleans, laid the groundwork for their eventual reunion. Fast forward to 2025, and Julius Randle is a different player. Not just older or wiser, but fundamentally better, particularly on the defensive end. The numbers show a player who has fully bought into the team concept, executing a wide range of coverages and thriving as both an on-ball defender and help-side anchor. Chris Finch emphasized that change in a recent press conference. To me, the most impressive growth, Randle's defense. For him, he can execute a variety of coverages, but really just his on-ball competitiveness and ability to contain is at a super high level right now. This is not just coach speak. Randle is effectively switching onto smaller guards without being exploited, using his lower body strength and improved footwork to cut off drives and force tough shots. On the block, he's become an immovable force, capable of standing up to elite post players without fouling. And perhaps most importantly, he's bought into communication and rotation schemes that once plagued him. Much of this can be credited to Finch's defensive schemes, which emphasize versatility, communication, and anticipation over gambling or flashy steals. Randle has internalized these principles and now thrives in a system built to showcase his improved discipline and instincts. It's no coincidence that Randle's best playoff run comes under Chris Finch. The trust between the two is palpable. Finch has not only empowered Randle with the ball in his hands, but also trusted him in high-leverage defensive possessions. In Minnesota, Randle has found a system that balances freedom with structure. Offensively, he operates as a secondary playmaker, often initiating sets from the top of the key or short corner, using his vision to find cutters and shooters while still being able to isolate when needed. This offensive load is complemented by a simplified yet demanding defensive role that has clearly challenged and motivated him. The decision to trade for Randle midseason was a gamble, especially with existing stars like Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns already commanding attention. But Finch saw a player who could fill the physical, mental, and strategic gaps the Wolves needed to contend. Averaging 24-6-6 on 62% true shooting is impressive on its own, but the context makes Randle's output even more meaningful. He's delivering these numbers while matched up against elite forwards and navigating an offense that demands quick decision-making and unselfish play. Perhaps the most telling stat of all is his clutch performance. In the final 5 minutes of close games this postseason, Randle is shooting over 50% from the field and is second on the team in fourth quarter scoring. He's become a stabilizing presence for a team often reliant on Anthony Edwards' explosive shot-making. His emotional control and leadership have also been on display. Gone are the frustrated technicals and head-down slumps that once defined his low points in New York. In their place is a calm, focused veteran who leads by example on the defensive glass, in huddles, and during runs when Minnesota needs to settle down. With Randle firing on all cylinders and buying into both ends of the floor, Minnesota has found its missing piece. Their defense, already elite, thanks to Rudy Gobert's rim protection and Jaden McDaniels' perimeter work, now has an enforcer at the forward position who can switch, box out, and close possessions with toughness. Offensively, Randle gives Finch the luxury of a third initiator. This allows Edwards to play off-ball more frequently, giving Minnesota new wrinkles in their late-game sets and counters to Oklahoma City's aggressive. Randle's presence also forces defenses to stay honest, preventing overhelp on Towns or Edwards in isolation. As the Wolves prepare to face Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder, Randle's versatility will be tested. Oklahoma City thrives in transition and forces turnovers, so Randle's decision-making and composure will be key. But if his recent play is any indication, he's ready. For Julius Randle, this playoff run represents more than a shot at a title. It's a reclamation of his narrative. Once labeled an inefficient chucker and defensive liability, he's now being talked about as one of the most complete forwards left in the playoff. This redemption arc is particularly poignant given his turbulent years in New York, where he saw both all-NBA highs and playoff collapses. With Finch in Minnesota, Randle has found consistency, not just in his stats, but in his role, mindset, and impact. A potential finals appearance would elevate his standing around the league and possibly solidify his place as a key piece in a championship core. The Minnesota Timberwolves are 4 wins away from doing what no Wolves team has done before: reach the NBA Finals. And Julius Randle, a once overlooked, often criticized forward, is right in the middle of it. His defense, long a point of contention, is now being praised by the very coach who saw his struggles firsthand years ago. His offense has matured, his leadership sharpened, and his willingness to sacrifice for team success is unmistakable. Chris Finch's faith in Randle is being rewarded. And if the Wolves continue their run, it will be impossible to tell the story of their success without highlighting how Julius Randle reinvented himself, just in time to chase greatness.
Bây giờ mình sẽ tiến hành gắn lên đây. Tạo tiếp vào đây cho mình một đường keo và gắn tại điểm này cho mình. Mình sẽ hơi uốn cong phần chân này lên một chút này. Và mình sẽ có một phần như thế này. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo tiếp vào đây một số chi tiết để tạo lên một quả táo. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo phần cuống. Và ở đây mình sẽ sử dụng phần kẽm màu lâu để tạo lên phần cuống. Mọi người sẽ cắt tại điểm này cho mình. Và mình sẽ gắn phần cuống này lên đây. Tạo vào đây cho mình một điểm keo. Và mình sẽ gắn lên phần này. Mình sẽ điều chỉnh lại một chút. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo lên một chiếc lá. Mình sẽ sử dụng phần kẽm màu xanh lá cây này. Rồi mọi người sẽ gập xuống đây cho mình một đoạn có chiều dài là 1 cm và mình sẽ cắt tại điểm này. Và mình sẽ gắn lên đây là một phần lá. Tạo vào đây cho mình một điểm keo. Và mình sẽ gắn lên đây một chiếc lá. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo tiếp vào đây một số chi tiết như mắt, mũi và miệng để tạo lên một quả táo bịch tuộc nhìn sinh động hơn. Và tại đây mình sẽ sử dụng phần màu hồng để làm phần nền tạo màu mắt. Và mình sẽ ướm tại đây. Mình sẽ tạo phần này nhỏ hơn một chút nữa. Và cắt tại điểm này cho mình. Tương tự, mọi người gấp xuống và tạo tiếp vào đây cho mình một phần tiếp theo. Và mình sẽ gắn vào đây là một phần mắt. Tạo tiếp vào đây cho mình một phần mắt thứ hai. Rồi tạo vào đây cho mình là 2 điểm keo. Và mọi người sẽ chuẩn bị với cho mình là 2 phần mắt dán này. Mình sẽ dán 2 phần mắt này lên. Mình sẽ dán đây là một phần mắt. Tương tự, tạo tiếp lấy cho mình là phần mắt thứ hai. Mình sẽ thao tác lại tại điểm này. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo thêm 2 phần má. Và mình sẽ sử dụng màu cam. Mọi người sẽ cắt vào đây cho mình 2 đoạn nhỏ này. Mình sẽ tạo vào đây là 2 phần má. Tạo vào đây cho mình một điểm kêu. Và mình sẽ gắn lên đây. Tạo tiếp vào cho mình một điểm keo tiếp theo. Và mình sẽ có 2 phần má ở hai bên. Và như vậy từ những các chi tiết, những bộ phận mình đã ghép lên tạo thành một quả táo bạch tuộc ngũ nghĩnh như thế này. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem video của mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.